good, YouTube? Quasar here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys an updated version of my Windwitch Invoked Artifact deck profile. So, yeah, let's just jump right into it. If you saw my last profile, it is going to be very similar. I just made a couple of minor tweaks to it based off of everything that came out in the newest Maximum Crisis set. So yeah, this is just basically an update to combat the new meta. So I won't go too much in depth, but yeah, it's still the same ratios. 3 Ice Bell, you want to be opening this. You got 2 Glass Bell, and then you got the 1 copy of Snow Bell. You know, that's the pretty standard ratio. Everyone plays it. Still 3 copies of Alistair, of course. Alistair is still really good. You want to be always finding a way to get into Alistair too, because he's basically your main normal summon of the deck, right? And then for the artifact engine, I play 2 copies of Scythe, 1 copy of Morale Tech. I think the 3 is perfect. That way you're not seeing Scythe too much. I did test it at 3. I found that I was seeing it a bit too often. So yeah, I do like the 2-to-1 ratio with Scythe and Morale Tech there. And now I have a pretty solid hand trap engine. So I play 3 copies of Ash. So definitely like the new best hand trap of the format. So gotta be playing 3 copies of it. I know a lot of people do like running 2 copies, like that's perfectly fine too. But the fact that like everyone's playing this, like you gotta be playing it. It stops so much stuff for the current meta that, yeah, I just love playing it at 3 because I want to see it. Next, I main 2 copies of Ogre as well. I think Ogre is still really awesome. It's a great out to a lot of different things as well. So I like playing 2 copies of Ogre. I am also maining 2 copies of DD Crow because there is still a lot of stuff that's graveyard relevant, so you can just straight up banish a lot of shit from the graveyard with DD Crow. And a lot of people don't see it coming too. Just having main deck DD Crows are just really good. And then my last hand trap, 1 copy of Maxi. Of course, I'm always going to be playing Maxi until it gets banned, which please, Konami, don't do that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Moving on to the spells, I play 3 copies of Magical Meltdown. So again, this is just to get to Alistair, and it also protects your fusion monsters when they get fusion summoned, so your opponent can't activate anything to really stop it. I'm only playing 1 copy of Terraforming though. I'm actually seeing this card a lot, so I think the 1 Terraforming is really all you need. I was actually playing it at 3, but I found that I was opening like multiple meltdowns and a terraforming, so it got way too cloggy. So I like this ratio. The 3-to-1 is really good. I still play 2 copies of Invocation. I think 2 is perfect. 1, if anything happens to that 1, then you're kind of fucked, but at least if you have 2, then you're still able to easily recycle and loop and all that good stuff. So I put Wonder Wand down to 2 actually. I think it's still perfect at 2. Like this at 2 is still fine. It was kind of weird though. I played it at 3 for so long and I never saw it. I dropped it to 2 and I see it so much more often, so I don't know, that part is kind of fucked, but I think playing it at 2 is really good. 2 copies of Twin Twister still, just to get rid of back row, and 1 copy of Regeki. And then moving on to traps, I believe this is actually the exact same trap lineup. So it's 3 Sanctum, of course, just to get into your artifacts. 2 D Barrier, so really good. D barrier actually is starting to lose out on value though because of the true Dracos being so powerful in today's meta that the fact that this card doesn't do shit against them kind of sucks, but you obviously want to be siding these out for games 2 and 3 against them and put in something that'll actually help combat them, like Mask of Restrict, shit like that. And for my last 4 traps, I do play the Solemn Brigade still. Unfortunately, Strike isn't as useful as well. Same with Dimension Barrier when it comes to like the summoning of something like Masterpiece. Because it is a tribute summon, you can't really strike it. You gotta wait until you actually use the pop effect in order to negate that. So, it is a little bit slower when it comes to a deck like the True Dracos, but I still think it's a great card at 3. A plus side to this card is, though, that the fact that people are playing shit like Ash Blossom, you can still negate it with Solemn Strike, so just keep that in mind. So that is it for my main deck. I just added a couple of different things to just help with some of the tougher matchups. Extra deck is also very similar, just made another couple of minor tweaks here and there. But yeah, again, you got the 1 copy of Crystal Wing, obviously your boss monster of the deck. You want to be bringing him out as soon as possible. If you do bring it out by using your Snowbell, you can just easily get over people's their Masterpiece and that without worry, because it can't be destroyed and it can obviously just pump up its attack too and just beat over it. So yeah, definitely still has to be played. Such a good card. I'm also playing 1 copy of Stardust Dragon. I still really like the fact that this card just stops so many different things. There are so many different cards out there that revolve around destruction effects, like Dragonic Diagram. You need to pop a card in order to get that search off. If you have Stardust, you can just negate that, and you're pretty much screwing your opponent over from there. So, Stardust Dragon is a really sweet option. Clearwing Synchro Dragon, probably one of the best level 7 synchros out there. So I really like the fact that it has the double negation as well, so that's really sweet. I always try to go into Clearwing as often as possible whenever I can drop a 7. And then for my last synchro, I am playing 1 copy of Winterbell. Another thing I really like about Winterbell, though, actually, is the fact that its first effect allows you to special summon another monster from hand by targeting a Windwitch either on your field or in your graveyard, and then you get this special monster that's equal or less level. So I actually got to pull off both a Clear Wing and a Crystal Wing, just because I got to use its effect to just keep dropping my Wind Witches from hand. I actually ended up opening 2 Ice Bell, so that allowed me to just combo off and pull everything off, and I just thought that was really awesome. So yeah, that's your basic 4 synchro monsters, so pretty simple. 1 copy of Elysium, I still like playing it. I don't know for sure. I was told that there was a ruling that involved you having to actually have that other extra deck monster on the field. It says that it was 1 monster that was special summoned from the extra deck. So if you guys do know about that ruling, leave down in the comment section below. But other than that, it's still a decent card. If that was the case, it'd be a little bit more difficult to bring out, and I might be replacing it too, but for now, yeah, I'm still just playing it, so. Still playing 2 copies of Mechaba. Probably one of your best fusion monsters, so that's why I'm playing it at 2. Um, Not much to say. Basically, yeah, your ultimate Providence. Um, 1 copy of Megalanica, 1 copy of Purgatrio. Purgatrio is now a lot easier to go into because you are playing Ash. 1 copy of Cocytus. Good against the Paleozoic matchup. 2 copies of Regin. I mean, I still play 2. The fact that it's also level 5, it works alongside your artifacts, making you go into your rank 5s a little bit easier, so there is that option as well. So yeah, those are my fusion monsters. And now going into the Xyz, I play 1 copy of Volcasaurus. Volcasaurus actually is probably one of my favorites to go into, just because he can pop a problematic monster and also inflict some burn damage. Most people are playing a lot of boss monsters nowadays, so a card like this is really helpful to get around some of those boss monsters. I play 1 copy of Durendal. This card is good for like multi situations. So during your opponent's turn, if they were to add something from deck to hand, you can always just pop off its effect to have them shuffle their entire hand back in and draw. Albeit they might end up with a better hand, but you're hoping that they end up drawing some trash and then you just completely cut them off from their play. It also does have the second effect where you can take the effect of a monster, spell, or trap card and turn that into basically an MST-like effect. So it can stop something that's like potentially extremely tragic. For example, if they were to activate Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, you can chain Durendal, and all that Slumber would do would be pop a back row versus clearing your board and them dropping 2 Kaijus on the board. So definitely a really good rank 5 to have. And for my last monster, I am playing 1 copy of Castel. Just because it is a win, so it does allow access with something like Alistair and your Glass Bell just to be overlaid. So I do like having him as an option there in the extra deck. So that is my updated Windwitch Invoked Artifact deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.